So this is the mysterious case of Amy Lynn Bradley. So to some people love it, some people don't, but I kind of like it, a cruise vacation.
Oh, okay.
So
I was wondering what you were talking about.
A cruise I was trying to build a suspense.
Yeah, that was good. It was well done.
A cruise vacation can be a dream come true. It's really, to me, the reason why I like cruises so much is because you're so disconnected from real life.
Yeah, and I know a lot of them are offering Wi-Fi and stuff, and I'd rather really not connect to that at all.
Hell no.
I don't want my work emails coming through. I don't want, to be bothered with stuff that's happening that doesn't really matter that much. Like if it's, an emergency, absolutely.
Yes.
But I don't need to be checking Instagram and posting this Snapchat and whatever.
And, you do make your little stops at the islands and you can connect and post those pictures that you want to, but you're not getting bombarded by texts. And I will tell you, just while sitting here and us recording an episode for an hour, I will feel my wrist buzz with my Apple Watch probably 10 times.
Yeah, it's because of all these different apps just want to get your attention.
Yeah, and even sometimes it's just text, like people just texting me.
Oh, nobody texts me. I'm kind of mean, I guess.
No, you're not.
It's mostly you.
But the point is, a cruise is a guaranteed way to truly disconnect and relax. Whereas a lot of other vacations, you're running around like a crazy person and you come back home and you kind of need a vacation after a vacation. One of my favorite things about a cruise is that day at sea, where you're literally unable to leave the boat.
No plans. So you can look at the plans, be like, okay, maybe we'll catch that comedian tonight. Maybe we'll go watch a movie, maybe one game show. And I hate scheduling things for the whole day.
Right.
Just maybe pick one or two.
And if we make it, we make it. And if we don't, we don't.
Right.
So
don't have to worry about dinner because it's going to be somewhere on the boat.
Exactly. You're eating foods you might not normally eat. You're, given options to, if you want to order 3 entrees, you can.
Right. Which is very American.
You're sitting in a lounge chair. You're having cocktails delivered to your seat. Maybe you get those books that you don't normally have time to read and you actually get to breathe for, once a year that you're able to get away. So
I love reading on cruises.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So a cruise can be wonderful, and then sometimes it could be not so wonderful.
If it's really rocky, and if the food sucks, and if people are just general jerks and messy and crap.
Or if we're talking about it on a true crime podcast, it tends to not be a good cruise. So many people don't realize it, but cruises can actually be pretty sinister. So from a report in 2015, 14.91 million people went out on cruises in North America alone, most to the Caribbean. And since 1995, hundreds of people have excitedly boarded cruise ships, never to return.
Hundreds?
Yes.
Huh.
So often it seems as if they vanished into thin air. Of course, it could be that somebody fell overboard. We've heard some tragic stories from cruise ships that one grandfather was holding his grandbaby and she fell from the balcony. Ugh. I mean, that's just like disgustingly tragic. But in this case, there's stories where, just like the one I'm going to talk to you about today, the person seems to literally vanish into thin air.
Wow.
So, like I said, and very few of these disappearances are ever solved. And this happens to be one that I'm speaking of today. It's never been solved. So at about 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday, March 24th, 1998, the Bradley family was on a cruise vacation aboard the Royal Caribbean Rhapsody of the Seas. They were setting sail to Curacao. Ron Bradley saw his 23-year-old daughter lounging on the balcony of their cabin. When he looked out again, about 30 minutes later, Amy was gone and she would never be seen again by her family.
Just that quick, huh?
That quick.
I expected a little bit more story before that.
Well, there's going to be more story because otherwise we'd be done with this episode.
Well, yeah. No, I'm saying like just, they were out in the sea for a few days and everything was good and had a great time. But no, just like this is like the first day?
No, it wasn't the first day.
Okay.
So Ron and Iva Bradley and their 2 adult children got on board the Rhapsody of the Seas on Saturday, March 21st, 1998 in Puerto Rico after Ron had won the trip.
So this was like 3 days into the cruise?
This was 3 days in, yes.
And Ron won the trip?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So they were heading from there to Aruba and then to Curacao, which is an island above Venezuela in the Netherlands Antilles in the southern Caribbean Sea. I have never been to Curacao, and I don't think you have either.
Nope. I only know of one person. I'll tell you later.
Okay. So Amy was born on May 12th, 1974 in Petersburg, Virginia. She graduated from Longwood University with a degree in physical education.
5 years older than us?
Yes. She was a very athletic girl. She attended college with a basketball scholarship. She was known for her strong swimming capabilities and had previously worked as a lifeguard.
Do you know what college?
I don't.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Just curious.
Oh yeah, Longwood University.
Okay.
Yes, if you had been listening, Mike, you
Yeah.
would have heard me.
Yep.
The hell. So at the time of her disappearance, she had planned to start a new job at a computer consulting firm. Despite Amy being a strong swimmer, she had a fear of the open ocean. According to Amy's mom, Iva, Amy had been reluctant to even join the family on their cruise vacation because of her fear.
Wow, that is extreme.
And it is extreme, especially when you're being offered this like awesome vacation. And you could tell they were a very close family that got along very well. So that wouldn't have been the reason like, oh, it's going to be stressful with my parents, blah, blah, blah. It was really, she was hesitant because of her fear of the open water.
It's interesting because you do look around and think, holy shit, if we just sunk, like nobody would come for us for days.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally sometimes out in the middle of nowhere.
Now, granted, there's SOS signals and people will come, but it's just like you look around, there's nothing.
Well, it's because you look out and you see nothing, so it can be... That's what I like about it.
It's like claustrophobic almost. It's like the opposite of claustrophobic.
See, to me, I like it.
Right.
Yeah, it makes things be put into perspective for me. Like we were talking about in our last episode where you're hiking along the... whatchamacallit, Appalachian Trail. It kind of makes you feel like your problems are less important as you can sometimes get into that, spiral with on a day-to-day life. Like me looking out at sea and not seeing anything is like very peaceful to me.
I personally like shelter and things, which is why I like the woods. I don't like being open, like, animals could attack from any direction.
Well, on a cruise ship, I don't think a jaguar is going to come and pounce on your back.
Perhaps a shark.
I mean, I don't think so, but...
Okay.
It's not going to jump up and bite you on your balcony.
So Amy didn't like this open sea.
She was not at all, at ease in the open waters, but she put that aside and she did join her family. But once on board, she was hesitant to approach the ship's railing, but her family, was trying to be supportive, reassure her that everything's going to be fine. We're safe.
Hey, 100 million people or 14.91 million people go on cruises every year.
Exactly. So the night before Amy vanished, it was the third night of the cruise on March 23rd, the ship sat docked off the shore of Curacao. The family attended a dinner party on the upper deck. Iva and Ron headed back to the cabin about 1 a.m., and Amy and her younger brother Brad headed to a nightclub on the ship. I found it interesting that Brad's name was Brad Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
So at first I was like, wait, I must have it wrong. It's not Brad.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, it's very easy to remember. So of course they're young. They're in their, low 20s. They headed out to a nightclub on the ship. They were dancing, hanging out with the ship's band, Blue Orchid. Amy danced with the band's bass player, Yellow, which is actually named Alistair Douglas.
Wait, Yellow?
Yellow was the name of the band that was playing at the club they were dancing at.
And the club was Blue Orchid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. Yellow
the band was Blue Orchid.
You are really screwing me up.
Well,
today,
I thought
Mike.
the band was Blue Orchid.
It is.
Okay, and who's Yellow?
So the band is Blue Orchid. Yellow is the band's bass player.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. That's the guy's name, Yellow.
Yes, but his actual name is Alistair Douglas.
Got it. Okay. And
Yellow is actually a nickname. His birth certificate doesn't say Yellow.
Got it. No, I get it now. And I know this doesn't really matter. I'm just want to make sure I'm following. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome on board, Mike.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
The last known picture of Amy actually shows her dancing at the club with Yellow. Records show that Brad headed back to the room before Amy, and the cabin's door lock records indicate that Brad entered the cabin around 3:53 a.m.
Wow, late night.
Yes, very late night, but again, they're young. For me, I'd probably be sleeping for 5 hours at that point. Amy followed 5 minutes later, and the two chatted and then headed to bed.
You know what? The nice thing about these cruises is that you can kind of let your kids go do whatever because they can't get off the boat.
You're contained.
Yeah, but in this situation, this is like now going to enter my mind anytime we have a cruise with our kids.
It's scary.
We would leave them, let them roam, go get some ice cream. Like we wouldn't let Reese, because she was really small at the time. She would go get ice cream and come back up just to give her some independence.
The last cruise we were on, our cabin was literally, you left the room, went up one flight of stairs, and the ice cream was literally at the top of the stairs.
So we wanted to give her a little bit of her independence.
And she would only go with her brother,
right.
Her older brother. So it is true, though. You think in your head, well, it's contained. Where could they possibly go? But that's, what everyone thinks. And
yeah. And now you did say that there's 14 or 15 million people that go on a cruise and hundreds turn up missing. That's like 0.00003%.
But it still happens.
Sure.
This family is without their daughter.
Yeah.
So the last words they said to each other, which was so sweet, was "I love you."
Oh, brother and sister.
Yep, very
That's
sweet.
nice.
And you could tell they were close. They were out, together for hours, dancing and whatever. So at some point, Amy woke up, she changed her clothes, and then headed out to the balcony with her cigarettes and a lighter. Amy's dad, Ron, woke, and when his two kids, he woke when they came back to the cabin, which was, 3:30? And Amy indicated that she planned to sleep on the balcony that night, which is interesting because she had a fear of the open water.
Yeah.
But maybe when she was dancing, she had a couple cocktails and her anxiety was a lot lower.
Sure.
So on March 24th, where the story began, Ron woke and could see Amy's legs from the hips down as he glanced out the balcony window. It looked like she was resting comfortably. The balcony door was closed. He headed back to bed and dozed off for about 30 minutes. Ron said, about 6 a.m., something woke me again. I got up, I looked on the balcony, and the balcony door was open about 14 to 16 inches, and Amy wasn't on the deck. Because again, when he had checked 30 minutes earlier, the door was closed.
Right.
Now it's open 14 to 16 inches.
So she probably came in to pee or something, use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. You would think.
And now she's not out there. He said, I had a funny feeling at the time because it was unlike her to be up and about that early in the morning, especially after they didn't go to bed until almost 4 o'clock in the morning. We're talking, this is 2 hours. What are the odds that she would have been up and about and on deck again?
Were they drinking? Like, is there drinking involved?
I'm
Most likely?
quite sure they were drinking.
Okay.
Yes. Amy's shoes were still there, but her lighter and cigarettes were gone. Ron's first thought was that she had gone up to the top deck, but he couldn't find her when he looked. Ron said it was not like Amy to leave and not tell anyone where she was going. Ron woke his wife, Iva, at 7 a.m. and said, I can't find Amy. Iva said that Ron looked gray in appearance and she immediately knew something was terribly wrong. The family began to search the common areas of the ship, but there was no sign of Amy. Their concern grew. They asked that Amy be paged over the ship's speaker system, but this was denied.
Because it's too early.
Well, yes, exactly. The staff said it was too early. They approached the staff on board, explained the situation, and pleaded with them to cancel their docking on Curacao to prevent any potential that if somebody had Amy, that they get off onto Curacao with her.
Yeah.
So they said, please, let's keep this a closed situation. But they were also denied that. So they did dock as scheduled. The gangplank was lowered and staff and passengers were allowed off the ship. At 8 a.m., Amy was finally paged over the ship's speakers, but at this point, many passengers had already disembarked for the day.
Oh, jeez. That sucks. And I get where they're thinking, but in the meantime, the cruises are only thinking about profit and how many people are going to be pissed off. And,
Exactly.
That's tough.
So at this point, the captain ordered a thorough search of the ship, securing all 10 decks and 999 rooms, though the search came up empty.
Securing them while everybody's out in Curacao.
Right, exactly.
Nice. Yeah, that's going to lead to something.
At lunchtime, they told the family, she's not on the ship. We have searched every nook and cranny. The other thing is, I know when we've been on the ship and gotten off, we had our little badges that were around our neck scanned. So it would show that everyone who got off also got back on.
Yeah.
So it's clear that she was never scanned off. This was 1998. Was that the case at the time? I would think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So again, they said they searched every nook and cranny and she was nowhere to be found. The ship's captain refused to post any pictures of Amy or inform any passengers of her disappearance.
Whoa, what a dickhead.
For fear of upsetting them or disturbing other guests. It's reported that overall, the cruise line was very uncooperative during this entire process and denied any responsibility for missing Amy. Iva said that they were in such distress. Brad was in the fetal position and Ron was actually vomiting blood. That's how scared they were.
Well, yeah, you're thinking she's overboard or somebody has her or whatever it might be. You're thinking the worst.
Iva said she had no feelings in her arms. She was literally tingling in her arms. The following day, March 25th, the FBI informed the Bradley family that cruise security had only done a not so thorough search of the common areas versus what they said, which was a room by room search.
So not the every nook and cranny.
They
so
did
lots
not.
of nooks, lots of crannies still unchecked.
Yes. So really, it was only the common areas that were looked into.
Just like they already did earlier.
Exactly. No room by room search, which they told the family that this is what they did.
Hopefully lawsuits coming here. So
when the family returned to the ship after speaking with the FBI, they were met by the ship's risk management agent, who was actually the cruise line's attorney.
No shit. And all they're going to do is they don't give a
Damage
shit about
control.
you. They want to make sure that their cruise line is safe, and they're going to get you to try to sign anything you can.
Yep. So they were representing the company and any legal action that would be taken by Amy's family against them. The FBI stepped in and conducted several interviews with this attorney. The family was not allowed to attend any of these interviews, though the attorney was allowed to be present at all the family's meetings with the FBI.
Interesting.
Amy's family was very discouraged by the basically hostile treatment that they were met with during this whole time.
Yeah, because it's all about the dollar with these assholes.
How desperate can you possibly feel when your daughter is missing off of a ship and all you're getting is pushback?
Who is this, Royal Caribbean?
Yes.
Nice.
So as the investigation continued, several witnesses came forward that shed some light on what may have happened to Amy. One witness named Crystal claimed to have seen Amy shortly after she left her cabin early in the morning. She said she saw Amy with Alistair Douglas, the band's bass player, who's also known as Yellow.
Right, we covered that
Remember,
earlier.
Mike, his Yellow is not on the birth certificate. It's Alistair Douglas. So footage and pictures confirmed that the two had connected the night before. People said they saw them flirting, slow dancing, and holding hands. And again, one of the last pictures they saw on board of Amy was with her actually dancing with this person.
Well, you have to figure you're mentioning this yellow fella in this story, so he's going to come back somehow.
I mean, I'm only just mentioning what happened. We don't know what happened, truly. Right. She's never found. So it was also claimed that the two were seen going off to another area alone, and 10 minutes later, Allison, that's me, Alistair had returned alone. Brad, Amy's brother, said that during the morning that Amy went missing, Alistair approached him and said he felt bad about what was going on with Amy, even though only family and security knew what was going on at that point because it was very early on the investigation and the search. Mm-hmm. So in his mind, when he said that, he was like, how the hell would he even know this?
Right.
But he did. Authorities found no direct link between Alistair and Amy's disappearance, and he was never detained or considered a suspect.
Wow. So there's probably no cameras on the boat at this time, like especially in the hallways and common areas.
I do not think so, no. There was no mention of any kind of footage of surveillance.
It's 1998, so this would be a very expensive thing for them to have. Whereas nowadays, I'm sure there is because it's much easier, much cheaper.
Yeah.
But especially not out on the balcony because we don't know if she jumped or whatever it could have been.
Yeah, it was a private balcony. The interesting thing was, though, is that the door to the cabin was left open, that 14 to 16 inches, and her cigarettes and lighter were gone.
So you would think she's going to get a smoke somewhere.
She picked them up and walked out, but then why wouldn't she just smoke out on the balcony, you know?
Well, maybe get some coffee. Whatever.
But the indication shows, though, that odds are she left the cabin, hence the door being open, hence her cigarettes and lighter being gone.
And probably the slam of the door woke the dad up.
Yes, because he doesn't know what it was. He doesn't know what it was, but something woke him up.
And those doors slam pretty hard every time. They do,
especially if the door to the balcony was left open. It's that, tunnel vacuum.
And even the click. You're just worried about your kids, thinking about them all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she is an adult. She's 23. But still, it's their child.
I'm going to worry about my kids forever.
Me too. So from Curacao, the ship continued on to the island of St. Martin and further traveled to St. Thomas before returning to San Juan, Puerto Rico on Saturday, March 28th, 1998.
And basically, this family, Ron and Iva and Brad, are stuck on here in their own personal hell when they're trying to find Amy, who's gone. And in their mind, she's dead and gone, and they're never going to see her again. All they can think of is what has happened to her.
So, and then you're in that position of, do we get off at the island of Curacao and look for her, or is she on the ship? You're torn. Which direction do we look?
Yes, I would go out and just look just to see, because what else are you going to do? And
I don't know.
Then meanwhile, around you, everybody's having the time of their life, and you're sitting there, I lost my daughter.
Oh my God. I would be vomiting blood for sure.
Absolutely.
So the Bradley family feels that Amy leaving and disappearing on her own volition was not possible. There's no way she would have left her life and her family. They were a close, tight-knit family.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what Royal Caribbean's trying to push.
Right.
They're she just left the boat and didn't want to be with her family. She ran away. Yeah, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I know my daughter, and there's not a chance in hell she did this. So she had a new job and apartment back in Virginia. She also recently adopted a bulldog, which she was planning on picking up after the cruise.
Oh.
So there's no way she just left her life. She had written postcards to friends from the cruise, telling them about her vacation and saying that she was so excited to come home. There was no reason to believe that she would have committed suicide. Of course, it's possible that Amy could have fallen overboard, but again, they were just offshore and Amy was known to be a strong swimmer and a trained lifeguard. No one could find any evidence that she had actually fallen or had been pushed overboard. There was no sign of a body in the water, and sea conditions were very calm on the morning that she went missing. Railings are reportedly designed to prevent people from just stumbling over, even had she been intoxicated.
Sure.
It's not natural that unless she tried to jump, she wouldn't have fallen overboard, because obviously people are indulging in cocktails on a shrimp. On a shrimp boat? They're not on a shrimp boat. Yeah. So clearly they're not going to make the balconies and the railings where somebody could easily just fall over.
Yeah, they're at a certain level, which would take some effort to get over.
Exactly. So family turned their attention to the ship's staff, feeling like certain people on board had paid Amy special attention. After dinner one night, the waiter came out of the dining room and asked Ron and Iva where Amy was. When they asked why, they said, "We want to take her to Carlos and Charlie's." Ron felt that it was a little forward. When Amy came back, he told her what was said from the waiter, and she replied, "That's kind of creepy. I'm not going anywhere with them."
Oh, wow. This was when they were still... oh my gosh.
Yeah, because this had been their third night at sea.
Yeah.
So on one of the previous evenings when they were eating at the restaurant, this is what the interaction was. So an eerie fact about this whole Carlos and Charlie's thing is that Natalie Holloway was an 18-year-old. Do you know this name?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. So she was an 18-year-old American woman who disappeared in 2005 and was last seen at Carlos and Charlie's.
Wow.
So it's just, is it nothing? Maybe, sure. But it's kind of just eerie.
Right.
So the night before Amy disappeared, the family had seen a dance troupe come on board the ship, observe the party on board that night, mill about, and stand at the railing. They thought it was really strange that they were allowed to come on board and just hang out with paying passengers.
Yeah, no shit.
I guess they commented to each other. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, if I would have known this, I would have just waited over here and came on the ship.
Yeah.
Without paying.
So another odd occurrence was that photos taken of the family, which were supposed to be posted on board for potential purchasing, you know how that goes. Like in the halls,
yep.
They line up the pictures. They were any of the photos that were taken with Amy and with the family were not there. They weren't hanging.
Yeah, just to protect themselves from any kind of...
This was before anything happened.
Oh,
this
really?
was when Amy was still out and about.
So somebody was taking pictures of Amy, stealing them.
Actually,
probably.
possibly taking them.
Wow.
So when the family went up to the clerk, he said, I remember putting them up. I don't know what happened to them.
Oh, my God.
So it's unknown if there was a connection to this and Amy's disappearance, but these are strange details.
Absolutely. That's strange. Every time I've been to a cruise, I've seen them every time.
Yes. And the fact that the person said, I put those up. Right. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
And it's just a little too coincidental to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
So some witnesses say that they saw Amy with Alistair near the ship's dance club around 6 a.m. that morning that she went missing. And this was right around the time that Ron woke up, looked outside, and saw his daughter wasn't there.
Maybe she was planning to meet up or something.
Yeah, perhaps. Mm-hmm. Alistair had denied this, which also is interesting that some person's saying, I saw them, and he's saying, no, you didn't.
Highly suspicious.
But regardless, remember what I said, he was never connected to her disappearance.
What? How the hell is that possible?
I don't know.
Great lawyers at Royal Caribbean, probably.
So Ron has reason to believe that Amy was kidnapped and possibly sold to the sex slave market somewhere on the islands.
Whoa, that's a big jump.
There have been thousands of leads since Amy's disappearance. One of the best ones has come from David Carmichael. In August of 1998, 5 months after Amy disappeared, David and a friend named Brian were Canadian tourists. They were scuba diving off on Curacao and noticed 3 people walking along the beach in Porto Mari, Curacao. 2 were men and 1 was a young girl. The girl had 2 tattoos. 1 was a gecko and 1 was a Tasmanian devil. The girl walked towards David and stared at him. Just as she was about to say something to him, one of the men motioned her away. In May of 1999, David saw a segment on Unsolved Mysteries featuring Amy. He saw her picture and he's like, holy shit, that's the girl that I saw.
Wow.
Yeah, and the fact that he mentioned her tattoos.
Yeah, so obviously that was the same tattoos?
They were consistent with her tattoos.
I mean, those are very interesting tattoos.
Yes, there were specific tattoos that, aren't very common.
No.
So David isn't the only person to claim to have seen Amy. A member of the Navy said that he saw her during a visit to a brothel in 1999. She told him her name was Amy Bradley and that she begged him for help.
Oh my God.
He told her that his Navy ship was docked only 5 minutes down the road, but she replied, "You don't understand. I can't leave. Help me. Please help me." The man dismissed Amy because he didn't know the story. He was thinking, who
You're
the
thinking
hell is
this one's
girl?
crazy. Yeah, she's trying to get my money.
And so he didn't know who she was, the fact that she was actually missing. He also wanted to keep his rendezvous on the down low.
Sure.
Because he wasn't, supposed to be at a brothel.
Sure.
So he wasn't coming forward not knowing any of this information.
It's like the perfect crime, because anybody that comes to these things probably doesn't want to save somebody because they don't want people to know that they're at these brothels.
Right.
It's sickening.
So he then saw Amy's picture on the cover of a People magazine and was like, oh my gosh, this is the girl that I spoke with.
It was a real story. This is something that I should have helped her with. He probably feels bad, but
for sure.
I get it at the same time. You don't know if this is all lies just to try to get something out of you.
Of course. You're having some girl that you've never seen before come up to you and you're like, I don't know. So then he contacted the Bradley family because he realized this was the girl that he spoke to.
Ah, so sad.
So by this point, the brothel had burned down in a fire under mysterious circumstances.
Sure.
So that same year in 1999, a man named Frank Jones emailed Ron and Iva and claimed to be a former U.S. Army Special Forces officer, said that he could rescue Amy from the armed Colombians who were holding her in Curacao. Frank said that he had a team of ex-Army Rangers and ex-Navy SEALs who might be able to rescue Amy.
Only if you pay us what money?
Yes, there you are. He said that he would put Amy on his own back and swim her out of there if he had to.
So this is basically the guy that owns her, quote unquote, owns her as a sex slave, and he knows that there's too much heat on her, so he can't exactly put her out to be working as a sex worker. So he's going to try to negotiate money as a ransom to try to get her back.
So we'll see, but because of the high profile campaign to find Amy and the offer for $250,000 reward, there was a lot of attention and reports that only led to dead ends. So they're hearing a lot of things coming out, and they're getting their hopes up. They're looking into them, and they're going nowhere. Mm-hmm. But Frank seemed legitimate to Ron and Iva, so they decided to hire him to help find Amy.
They ever meet this guy in person?
I don't know. So Frank Jones, I'm going to call him Jones here. Jones sent 2 of his men down to Curacao to check the account given to the family by a witness named Judith Margaretha. Judith was a cook and told the Bradleys that Amy was being held by heavily armed Colombian guards in a housing complex protected by barbed wire.
This is like a movie. Like
right?
I mean, this
total.
They should make a movie out of this, unfortunately. But I mean, it's incredible.
So she said that she also regularly saw Amy shopping at a grocery store and working out at a gym. She said that she was often with a man with long blonde hair and tattoos all the way down one arm.
Yeah, the guy that's watching her to make sure she doesn't try to escape.
Exactly. So Margaretha gave accurate descriptions of Amy's tattoos and said that she hummed a lullaby that Iva used to sing to Amy when she was a baby.
Oh my God, so heartbreaking. Your baby is there being used for sex, and you can't get her, which is, I get why they would try to take any lead.
Of course.
Any kind of hope.
Absolutely, of course. The family was convinced that she was telling the truth. Jones sent the family a report saying that his men, the former Navy SEALs, set up surveillance points on the locations that Margaretha indicated and observed Amy in a dark green SUV, driven by her captor with this long blonde hair. The report said that Amy was in a dangerous situation and under guard, and that Frank Jones' men were forced to leave after a week on the island when they were fired upon by an estimated 10 men. Wow. So this is what Jones is telling them. Over the next few months, Jones told the family that he sent more people to the island and provided the family with updated reports of the latest sightings of Amy. During this time, the family was terrified, thinking that their daughter was in imminent danger of being executed by her captors.
Because they're after her.
Yes.
So the quickest way to get somebody to stop looking for somebody is by killing them.
Get rid of them.
Yep.
When Jones told the family that it was time for rescue, he said he needed more money. When the family demanded they needed more proof of the person they were tracking was their daughter, he sent them photos of her sitting on a beach with the blonde-haired man. Iva Bradley remembers, "When I got the pictures, I knew Amy was okay and it was just a matter of time." He said she recalls recognizing the tattoo on her daughter's ankle. The Bradleys sent more money to Frank Jones, bringing their total up to $210,000. About $24,000 from their own pockets and about $186,000 from a fund that was set up for Amy's search by the National Missing Children Organization. Wow. So from their own pocket, they gave out $24,000.
Wow.
In the meantime, the Bradley family flew down to Florida and waited in a hotel with a private jet that Ron's employer had provided and an insurance company. For 1 week, the family waited, expecting to get that call that would reunite them with their daughter. But as the days went by, the phone never rang. Down in Curacao, Jones's men, former Army Special Forces sniper Tim Buchholz, started to wonder if Jones was lying to the family. Tim was assigned to watch the house where Amy was supposedly being held, but he never saw a single sign of her. He did discover that the house was occupied by just ordinary people.
Okay.
Tim later heard Jones tell the Bradleys from a bar that his people were watching the house at that moment, and he knew it was a lie.
Oh, jeez.
Another member of Jones's team, Jono Senk, told Primetime that the pictures of Amy on the beach with her blonde-haired captor were actually taken by Jones in Pensacola, Florida. Senk said he posted as the captor, wearing a blonde wig, and the woman in the picture was an acquaintance of Jones.
Wait. In Pensacola? Oh, so this wasn't actually the daughter?
It's all fake.
What, they put the tattoo on her ankle?
Put the tattoo on her ankle, knowing, there's information all over that says what her tattoos are and where they are. And
so made it look similar?
Probably made it look on the fuzzier side. Mm-hmm. Maybe had the girl looking down so that she,
Well, because he can't be right next to her, he has to take it with a wide-angle lens or whatever.
Of course. Wow. Not make it obvious, like, hey, cheese.
Yeah, I'm just going to take this random picture.
So Tim decided to contact the Bradleys, and the jig was up. Jones never served in the Special Forces, and the whole story of seeing Amy on the beach was all a lie.
$250,000 gone.
Isn't that disgusting?
Absolutely.
Who does this?
Right. Just
to
taking
somebody's
advantage.
Family who are desperate. How could you? How could you possibly sleep at night, like hanging bait in front of their mouths with holding out hope of we're going to get our daughter back, and it's all a lie?
Con artists don't care.
Disgusting.
Just hustling for any kind of money they can.
So in February of 2002, federal prosecutors in Richmond charged Jones with defrauding the Baileys of $24,444 and the nation's missing children organization of the $186,416. Jones pleaded guilty to mail fraud in April of 2002 and was sentenced to 5 years in prison and ordered to repay the money.
Yeah, good luck getting that back.
Right. And then this Margaretha, the cook who had seen Amy about, was actually a fraud too. So the Bradleys ended up paying her about $8,000 for her information. So this was another $8,000 that they had lost. So after the fact, Ron said, if there's a chance, what else do you do? If it was your child, what would you do?
Can't blame him.
No. So I guess we took a chance, and I guess we lost. But I don't blame him at all. And this
it's just
is exactly
money.
what I would have done.
Money doesn't matter.
And when you're missing your children, you'll give like the ends of the world to get them back.
Of course.
So 6 years later, a woman claimed to see Amy in a department store restroom in Barbados. While she was in the stall, the woman heard men coming into the ladies' room, threatening a woman in another stall, saying, "A deal is coming through. You need to obey and not mess it up," before leaving. When the woman exited the stall, she saw an upset woman in her 30s, looking panicked and hunched over the sink. The woman that she saw told her that her name was Amy and that she was from Virginia. Seconds later, the men busted into the restroom and basically dragged the woman from the restroom. The other woman fled as well and reported this whole interaction to authorities. A sketch of the three men was made, but absolutely nothing came of it.
Yeah, well, all these like foreign countries, they're all paid off by all these guys, so nothing's
They're
going to
not
happen.
going to throw them to the wolves.
Yeah.
In 2005, the Bradleys got an email with a photo of a woman who appeared to be Amy. She was lying on a bed in her underwear. A member of an organization who locates sex trafficking victims on adult website noticed the picture and thought it could potentially be Amy. The woman in the photo is called Jazz, Jas, and is a sex worker in the Caribbean, but no new leads were generated from this clue. They couldn't find who this person actually was.
Gosh.
Amy's family said that their lives have drastically changed since Amy disappeared. Every waking moment is consumed with wondering where Amy is. The family wants people to know that when girls disappear outside the country, they're disappearing for a reason. Iva said that white slavery and sex trafficking is alive and well. It would absolutely blow you away. We believe with every fiber of our being that someone took her and we want her back. And I have tried to make deals with God. If we find her today, you can take me tomorrow. When they say that it's the worst nightmare, it is. It's the worst nightmare. Iva believes that Amy is alive. David believes that 100% without a doubt it is Amy that he saw on the beach that day when he was scuba diving with his buddy. He says, absolutely 100% this is the girl I saw.
Yeah, that sounds definitely honest.
Mm-hmm. Amy has 4 distinctive tattoos. She has a Tasmanian devil with a basketball on her left shoulder blade, a Chinese symbol of faith on her right ankle, a green gecko around her navel, and a primitive sun/Chinese symbol on her lower back. To this day, the investigation and search for Amy continues. The FBI and the Bradley family is offering sizable rewards for any information on her whereabouts. Mm-hmm. In the months after Amy's disappearance, her family would write to congressmen, foreign officials, to the White House for help. They hired a private detective, built a website, started 24-hour hotlines. Her story has been featured on America's Most Wanted, Vanished, and Dr. Phil, but there's still no sign of Amy. Did she fall overboard and drown? Was she sold into sexual slavery?
Yes.
That's what I believe as well. Why was Royal Caribbean so uncooperative despite being high profile and earning $8.7 billion in 2015 alone?
Because all these, it's not just Royal Caribbean, they're all piece of shit companies. They're terrible, terrible companies.
Bottom line, what do they want?
Right, money.
Money.
Profit, money, and they're paying all these billionaires that own them. And that's why they're all like located offshore. All their headquarters are not in the United States. They're all in Bahamas and all these other places where they can get away with as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to keep standards for their food and all that crap. That's why it's so cheap. They have to keep it cheap, and they have to have all these people from third world countries help them, and they can pay them $2 an hour.
And it's always when we go on a cruise, we get so close with our waiter or waitress, whatever. They're just like the most amazing people, and we'll talk to them, and I'm like sick. I'm like, I feel like scum of the earth being served by these people who they tell me I haven't been off board in 3 months.
Yeah, we're basically taking advantage of these people.
And they're serving us at 8:00 at night, and I saw them at the buffet at 7 a.m. working. I mean, they're working like 18-hour days, 7 days a week, not being able to get off the ship for, months at a time. It's really kind of a sick situation when you actually stop to think about it.
It's kind of slavery. And it's like 99% of them, I'm sure, are very honest, but a lot of them are just telling you stories so you can tip them more. And usually you can kind of tell which ones are honest and which ones aren't.
I mean, I've just like fallen in love with all the people we've met.
Yeah, and that's part of the psychological side. They want you to do that so you can pay them more.
Yeah, but are they good people generally?
Yes, generally yes, but it's really disgusting. The whole cruise industry is disgusting.
So, the question is, was the cruise ship trying to keep their head down and avoid bad publicity?
Yes.
Or did they they somehow involved?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, they're not the actual cruise line.
Well, but like the people that are working on it.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm absolutely 100%. That's what happened. One of the guys saw her, whatever, it was desirable for whatever reason, and decided to sell her. And maybe, I don't know.
So there are rumors that the cruise industry makes deals with sex traffickers in exchange for large payments. At the time of her disappearance, Amy was 5'6" and about 120 pounds with short brown hair and green eyes, and she was Caucasian. She would be 48 years old today.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. I mean, she's probably past her prime in the sex work.
That's what's scary. What do they do after that?
I don't see how they'd have any problem, unfortunately, probably killing her.
Just killing her because they don't want to be tied back. Right. Obviously, if they released her, she'd come in directly.
She'd know everything about the stories. Yeah, so for them,
that's scary.
100% kill her
scary.
And leave her
it's
for
like
dead.
Time is running out.
Yeah.
So they did make age progressed photos of Amy of what she could potentially look like at age 42. Mm-hmm. So that's where we stand to this day.
And she would be older now. Would you say 47?
48.
48?
Yes, but 42, 48, I'm sure you look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So it's very, very scary and sad to me.
Yeah, super
it's
sad.
Just something, you're boarding as a family of 4, looking to have a great time together, and you come back as a family of 3.
It's definitely going to make me watch our kids a little closer, especially Reese, our daughter. Because
seriously, this is a real big wake-up call to me. It really is, because I'm just so naive.
You're right. I think the best, I feel like we're in America. It's like you're kind of safe, but like once you're on those cruise ships, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Any foreign country, and even in America, it's not like you're safe in America.
Of course. Things happen here.
Yeah, we have those stories every week on our podcast.
Completely.
So it's just, we have to watch a little closer, especially if you have a little daughter.
Yeah.
That shit is real.
It really is. And this has kind of really shook me to do this research, because it's just like a slap in the face. Like, hello, wake up. The world isn't just a great place.
Right.
So
there's mostly great people.
Yeah, of course, but bad things happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, this podcast is not about the great people.
No, it's not. Well, anyway, thank you all for being here. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. You have no idea. It means the world to us, and it makes all the hard work we put into this so worth it. So thank you. We are totally open to criticism, construction.
Well, anybody paying via Patreon is probably a big supporter. So
anyway, until next time, guys, we will see you then.
Yep.
And cheers, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.